Science proves this is what actually triggers sexual attraction from women. You've all heard the basics. Be confident, have good hygiene, show ambition. But let's be honest, that advice is the fast food of attraction. It's everywhere, and it's not doing anyone any favors when the goal is something deeper, rawer, sexual attraction. The kind that makes her glance at your lips mid-conversation, makes her body language shift, makes her wonder what it would feel like to be touched by you. This isn't about surface-level flirting or playing the nice guy role. It's about tapping into the subconscious switches that scientifically spark desire in a woman's body and mind, even before she fully understands why. So today, we're cracking open the vault. These are not the usual tips. These are the hidden levers most men never find, and even fewer know how to use. Let's get into it. 1. You look at her mouth, then back at her eyes, without smiling. Here's the thing. Women are neurologically wired to scan a man's face for emotional intent. Most guys think eye contact is king, and yes, it's powerful, but it's where your eyes go next that can change everything. When your gaze drifts from her eyes down to her mouth and lingers, just briefly, before returning to her eyes without softening into a smile, something ancient happens. Her mirror neurons start firing. Her brain reads your look as a pre-kiss signal, and even if she doesn't consciously register it, her body begins reacting. Blood flow increases. Breath slows. The idea of closeness is planted, and because you didn't smile, it keeps it simmering. Not friendly, not creepy, but erotically ambiguous. That little gaze shift? It's a silent suggestion, and science says subtle suggestion is one of the strongest activators of sexual desire in women. 2. You pause before answering, as if you're filtering for something more carnal. You've probably been told to listen more or don't interrupt. That's surface-level advice. But let's dig into what actually amplifies sexual charge in your conversations. When she asks you something and you pause, not because you're unsure, but because you're running her words through a different filter. She feels it. Your silence isn't empty. It hints that you're not reacting from the usual social script. You're considering her words through a lens she can't quite name, and that mystery creates friction. It's like she can feel your response simmering under the surface, weighted with something slightly primal, and when you finally do speak, it lands heavier. That slight delay? It's the conversational version of pulling her wrist back just a second longer than needed. Subtle tension that builds curiosity and arousal. 3. You speak to her in a way that makes her question whether you're flirting or evaluating. There's a dynamic most men never tap into. Sexual attraction flips when she's not sure who is seducing who. Instead of complimenting her or throwing obvious game, flip the frame. Say things that walk the tightrope between flirtation and quiet judgment. For example, you seem like someone who's used to being the center of attention. Does that get boring after a while? Or, you've got that calm on the outside energy, but I get the sense there's chaos under the surface. Now she's not thinking, does he like me? She's wondering, wait, what does he see in me? That shift matters. Studies in interpersonal chemistry show that uncertainty can be a powerful erotic stimulant, especially when it comes from someone she finds intriguing. If you become the mental puzzle she wants to solve, desire often follows. Quick pause. If you're serious about becoming the kind of man she notices differently, type evolve in the comments. Let's see who's actually building. 4. You smell like danger mixed with restraint, even if she can't explain why. Pheromones are real, but this isn't about overpriced colognes that promise raw magnetism. It's about something more nuanced. The olfactory cocktail of sweat, skin, and subtle cues that her body responds to on a primal level. Here's what most don't realize. Women's sense of smell is biologically sharper during ovulation, and the scent of male restraint is far more potent than aggression. If you've just worked out, but you're calm. If your shirt carries traces of you, not drenched in cologne, but your own skin, faintly charged, it sends a subconscious message. This man has power, but he doesn't flaunt it. It's like smelling smoke where there's no fire in sight. Her instincts tell her something could happen, if you let it. And the not knowing is what makes her body lean toward you without realizing it. 5. You break rapport on purpose, just enough to reset the tension. Most men are addicted to keeping the vibe smooth, laughing when she laughs, mirroring her energy, staying agreeable. But sexual tension doesn't grow in comfort. It grows in contrast. So here's the play. Once you're vibing, deliberately break rapport. Disagree with something mildly. Interrupt with a smirk. Shift your body away for a beat, like your attention drifted, then slowly return it. What this does is disrupt the emotional rhythm. Her nervous system, which had just settled into, this is nice, now jolts awake. Wait, where did he go? That micro-abandonment creates a flash of longing. And when you re-engage, the reconnection feels electric. This isn't about being a jerk. It's about keeping her nervous system slightly off balance, which, according to neuropsychology, is one of the strongest precursors to erotic arousal. 6. You speak low and slow, but only when the conversation turns playful. You've heard that a deep voice is attractive, but that's just part of the story. It's how and when you use your voice that turns it from background noise to a sexual trigger. When the energy gets playful, a joke, a tease, a challenge, slow your speech. Drop your tone just slightly. Let your words stretch with a bit of weight, like you're wrapping them in velvet. Why? Because play is a socially sanctioned form of intimacy. When you change your vocal pattern in those moments, it tells her subconscious, this game has stakes. Suddenly, your teasing isn't just funny, it's charged. The sound of your voice lingers. Research shows that vocal tonality tied to flirtatious cues can activate arousal centers in the female brain faster than touch, especially when there's contrast. So keep the joke, but say it like a secret. That's how you get her imagining more than just your punchline. 7. You make her feel exposed without ever touching her. This one is surgical. It's about turning observation into foreplay. When you notice something about her, not her looks, but her tells, you bypass small talk and go straight into her limbic system. Try. You talk fast when you're excited, but you just slowed down. What changed? Or, you keep playing with your ring when I ask certain things. That always means something. You're not calling her out. You're showing her that you see her in a way most men can't. That level of precision doesn't just make her feel noticed. It makes her feel naked in a psychological sense. And psychological nudity often leads to physical arousal when the context is right. Neuroscience shows that being observed in a way that feels emotionally intimate can release the same neurochemical precursors as a physical touch. So when you do touch her, even just her hand, it lands 10 times harder. If you're still watching, you're not here for the basic stuff. So subscribe now, and I'll make sure you keep getting the sharpest insights. 8. You let silence hang, like you know it's doing the work for you. Most men rush to fill silence, thinking it's awkward. But here's what the research says. Silence creates emotional suggestibility, especially in women, when it follows a moment of emotional or flirtatious connection. When you say something with subtle charge, like, you're more guarded than I expected, but I like that, then go quiet. Her mind doesn't go still. It goes wild. Silence becomes the ink her imagination uses to draw conclusions. She's wondering what you meant, wondering why you're not trying harder, wondering what that look on your face means. And the more time she spends wondering, the more space you've carved out in her psyche. And sexual attraction loves to live in that uncertainty. Let it hang. Look at her like you already know she's thinking about you, and just haven't said it yet. 9. You carry tension in your body, and never rush to release it. Most men don't realize their posture and movement patterns send constant signals. When you carry controlled tension in your body, slow shoulders, jaw set, spine aligned, you radiate something women are evolutionarily drawn to: readiness. Not aggression, not stiffness, but the kind of poised stillness that implies coiled power, like a dancer before the music drops, or a predator who's not sure if he'll pounce. Yet, it's primal. And it's deeply erotic because it puts her in the space of anticipation. She feels like you could explode into motion at any moment, but you don't. That restraint is what turns her on. Sexual attraction isn't just about what you say, it's about the energy you hold. And a man who holds his tension with control makes her body want to help him release it. 10. You reframe her sexuality in front of her. Most guys either put a woman on a pedestal or try to drag her into their world. But here's something different and wildly effective. Speak to her sexual nature in a way she's not used to hearing. For example, you've got this energy like you're constantly holding back, not because you're shy, but because you like controlling what other people feel. Or, you seem like the kind of person who knows exactly how to ruin someone, but only does it when they deserve it. What you're doing is re-narrating her erotic identity in a way that flatters and challenges. She hears herself in your words, but she also feels exposed. It's arousing because it allows her to step into a version of herself that's bolder, more mysterious, and she associates that transformation with you. Studies in erotic psychology show that when a person is made to feel seen sexually in a nuanced way, they often experience a spike in oxytocin and dopamine, both of which feed desire. 11. You tease her with the idea that you're the one who's dangerous. Most men think turning a woman on means proving they're safe, but safe isn't sexy. Safe is boring. The twist? You can be safe, but still suggest that you aren't tame. That might look like saying, people assume I'm the nice guy until they spend a little too much time alone with me. Or, I've learned to hide my vices, mostly. The goal isn't to be edgy. The goal is to hint at your depth and your darkness. It's about controlled chaos. Because what pulls her in is the sense that there's more to you than what's shown, and if she gets close, she might be the only one who gets to see it. Sexual attraction thrives on risk, and when you are the risk, She doesn't know whether she wants to run away or move closer. And that conflict? That's heat. 12. You treat her attention like foreplay, not validation. Here's the quiet truth. When a woman gives you attention, most men either gobble it up like it's their first meal in weeks or act indifferent in a way that screams, trying too hard. But the man who treats her attention like it turns him on, without needing it, is in a different league. Let her flirt. Let her compliment you. But instead of thanking her or shrugging it off, just smirk. Maybe say, "Careful, you're making it really hard to behave." Or just hold her gaze like you're unwrapping her in your mind. This does two things. It tells her she's affecting you, and it shows that you're not starved for female energy. You're enjoying it like slow dessert. Neuroscience backs it up. Women's arousal pathways are tied deeply to how they make a man feel, especially when he stays grounded in his power while letting her know she's cracking the surface.